Hi everyone, this is Glenn Flair from Boardgames and Bourbon. Right now we're going to talk about Shadowvale, which is right in front of you. And Shadowvale is the new expansion that's coming out for Valeria Card Kingdoms. Now, what I have in front of us to show you is a print and play preview of what's coming out. There's going to be stretch goals and all these other things, but this is going to give you a basic idea of the theme and everything involved. So what I have in front of us is I have the monster stacks. I have the citizens that are included. You'll notice there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There is no 5 and 6, at least in the preview pack that I was given. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then we have a bunch of domains. The Duke cards, there's a bunch of new Dukes, but the art hasn't been finalized on them yet. Suffice it to say, they're just a variation of what's already out there. You're going to get your rules like that. The rules are pretty much standard. The game is supposed to include events, which is when you empty one of these piles out, something's going to happen. It's also going to include banishment of cards, and it's going to include wild icons so you can get whatever you want from a card. Now, the theme of the game itself is very much, whereas Valeria normally is a fantasy theme, I would say this one is more treading on the world of Van Helsing, okay? Both in the characters and in the monsters more strongly than in the domains, perhaps. But they all offer a new rub on what's going on. So probably what I'll do is I'll start with the monsters here because they're probably the most interesting. And the table's going to get messy in a second here. Okay, so in the monster pile, we have these zombies. And these zombies kind of remind me of Pirates of the Caribbean, right? You have your undead zombies. 2 battle, you get 2 victory points out of it. You have more of that. Let's go down. You're going to have your hounds, right? Your dead hounds. Maybe that's like a callback to Resident Evil. Ooh, so fancy. You're going to have your dying birds. That's good. Well, actually, I think I might have seen that myself one day. And then you're going to have your undead giant and stuff like that. You're going to have a pile over here. And this pile here is a vampire pile. So as you go through it, you're going to, kind of like alluding to Nosferatu and stuff like that. And actually the art in this too, it's nice to have a change of pace. There's a little bit of different art from the previous art in the game. But this reminds me of Jay Lee, who was a great comic book artist and still is. I think he made one called Ash, and he made Neymar, and those were really great. So you have the vampires in here. Let's see what else we got going on here. You have the Dark Stalker. That's cool. Nosferatu himself. And then you have the Vampire King, which is pretty sweet to look at. It's definitely building an aura of the world. Then you're going to have, a Kingdom of Rats. This one, the dire rat. That's pretty cool. You're going to have a crocodile. You're going to go to the rat. Let me get my finger out of the way there. To the Rat King, if my camera can focus on that bad boy. Okay, Rat King. And then we're going to have a creature. There you go, right? Never at a loss for names. Then we have a werewolf pile. All right, that's pretty cool. Also, you have the new symbols, little paw in there too, so that's pretty cool. You're going to have the Lycan Mage. Oh, that's pretty wicked. That's a cool idea. Also some new icons. That's pretty cool. And as always, when you get down to the final people, I don't even know how to say this, but that artwork's pretty cool. And then here, when you get down to the alpha, it always is a fact where when you're trying to kill the monsters, you want to kill everyone in a pile. Like these says you get 2 coins for every one of those symbols you have. You always want to try to work your way down. And then this last pile over here, this is just the Banshee pile. This is that scary thing, though. It runs, and jitters in a horror movie as he runs up the aisle to eat your soul. Cool, just a bunch of that. Then you have like the uber duper version of it. Pretty darn cool. And then as far as the characters themselves, over here, you're going to have an Exorcist card. That's your number 1. So the Exorcist, that's definitely more thematic in keeping with the Helsing and, spirit world and ghouls and stuff like that. You have the Lumberjack, or in other words, the guy who's swinging the axe to take the head off the enemy. You have the Bandit, who probably lives in the woods and is, dealing with all the nefarious creatures. I love the artwork. The colors are so rich on this. It's really, really cool. The Hunter, this is probably literally Van Helsing right there. Great artwork. That really puts me in a world. The Necromancer. Oh, let's not get it in the way for face there. That's great. And almost when I see this kind of artwork here kind of reminds me of Klimt. If you've ever looked at Klimt's artwork. The Guardian's pretty cool. All right. Again, this is one of those cards that give everybody the same thing. So he benefits everyone. You have to be wary of those ones there. You have Dragoon right there, the armored knight who's trying to do all the good stuff for you. And then number 11 and 12, you're going to have, your Dr. Frankenstein here. You have the inventor who's doing things for you. The assistant to 007 kind of guy who always perpetuates the game. Now, as far as the domains, the domains are pretty standard stuff, It's just a mix of different conditions that you got to strike on according to whatever your tactic is in the game. But the artwork, again, is great, and it just has the symbols and the pay and all this stuff. Nothing too important, especially if you're just looking at the preview. There's no new mechanics on it, really, just variations of the old ones. And then there's tons of those. Okay, so that is everything that's in the preview. Take away from that what you will. I think the artwork at minimum is fantastic. Anyway, okay, so that is Shadowvale, okay, everyone? Look at all the cards. Oh, so many. Okay, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.